Today we talk about Baba Vanga. She was probably the most important seer old times. But first of all, a warmly welcome on my Amirasolis channel. My name is Lydia Gruber. I'm a medium for a long time, and Amira, she comes from the central sun, tells me a lot of important things for our days. So, why we talk about Baba Vanga today? Because I got into this thematic. People were talking on the street and said, "Oh, hi Lydia, have you ever heard from Baba Vanga?" It was something like, "Okay, why? Usually you say, how are you?" Or something like, I opened my telephone and saw Baba Vanga on the something about Baba Vanga, and I said, okay, maybe there is a message behind. And then I asked Amira, Amira, can you tell me, do you want to talk about Baba Vanga? Do you want to say us something about her? I have the feeling I have to do it. And she said, yes, it's very important, because she said many things for these days, and I want that you understand what's going on and what Baba Vanga has to do with us now. But first I want to explain you a little bit about her. Not everybody will know her. She was born in Macedonia. When she was a very little girl, her mother died, and the family was very, very poor. Her father married again, and then they moved to Bulgaria. So the girl grew up, and what's happened when she was 12 years old, it was amazing. A big thunderstorm was coming, and the little girl was flowing with the wind away. Everybody was looking for her, but nobody found her. She was missed for many days. Then, when they found her after a few days later, she was full of leaves and mud, but nothing has broken, and she couldn't remember where she was. And the only thing what she had is she started to get blind. So she was a blind girl, but she always said, "Oh, it's not really bad for me because I still can see." And from this day, she saw things. She could exactly say when people were around her, and she could feel the colors, things like this. She went to a school for blind girls where she learned to sew and things what ladies has to learn at these times. So after this, she came back to the family. Also, the stepmother died, and she had to take care for her father and the little sisters and brothers. Little by little, she started to feel things, to know things. For example, she could tell when people were missing, when people were disappeared. She could say exactly where they are, what's happened, things like this. And then she had like visions. And as older she got, as more perfect she was in these things. So she got very old. She was 85 years, and she died 1996. So during this time, she found so many missed people. She was a big healer, and she also made prophecies till the year 5000. So we could say she is the Nostradamus of the East. And she was very famous. Even business people, presidents, tsars, and very, very important people came to her to ask her what they should do, what the future will bring. So people from all over the Balkan were coming to her. Sometimes they waited for days out of her house, and then she said, "Oh, this person with the name is allowed now to come in." So nobody told her. She exactly always know who is out of the house waiting for her. And she did very big prophecies. For example, she said Tsar Boris will die. She know about Fukushima, the big catastrophe. And like Nostradamus did, a lot of prophecies she does with pictures. For example, the 11th of September, she did with the words, I read it. The American twins will fall after being attacked by 2 stealing birds. The wolves will be in the bush dance while innocent blood will be shed. Even that Obama will be president, she had known that the black president will be coming, the first president, and so on. So what did she say for 23 this year and the next future? It's very interesting because, for example, she said there will be, the Earth will leave the orbit, and that aliens will arrive on the Earth, an bioweapon attack will happen. So these things are scaring. She also said a big sandstorm comes to Earth, and a lot of parts of the world of the electricity will gone. These things we always hear, but she couldn't know it almost 30 years ago. This was not really in mind of the people. Bioweapons, sandstorms, from these things, or also aliens were coming to the Earth. It was not on the mind of the people. So this was really fancy at these days. If we look now, aliens are already here. And this year also there are special projects from NASA, from the governments who develop the relationships with aliens, and it's getting on the mind of the people. They are already here, and a lot of people have seen some of them. I know many people who saw UFOs, and some people I was talking with, they also told me that they were talking with extraterrestrial humans, or however we can call it. So at this point, she's right. The other point, maybe the bioweapons. This is also a big fear what many people have now, because it looks like this is coming, could come through. And also if we say Earth is leaving the orbit, if this would be happen, we got really problems. So we ask ourselves, oh, we cannot believe that this could ever happen. But Amira told me this will be happen, but not this year, in a couple of years. What Baba Vanga saw was that the new Earth is leaving the orbit. So the old Earth is, we all people who are awake, will going to the new Earth, and this new Earth is leaving the orbit like we know it. And this is also, so we have a new heaven, new stars, a new orbit, and a new Earth. So this really could be truth. But not all what Baba Vanga said, and I'm glad she was wrong, came. Like she also said the Third World War. This also said Nostradamus, Erlenmeyer, also as a seer, a famous one. So I ask why a lot of prophecies goes for the Third World War, and thank you, but it isn't happen. And she explained me, this has to do with the timelines. We have different dimensions and different timelines. And some of you know maybe The Man in the High Castle. Here it's a kind of explanation what timelines are, parallel worlds. So I think we have to understand that this is real true. This is not fantasy, it's not science fiction. We really have different worlds and different timelines. And for example, a couple of months ago, beginning of the year 23, we were on a point, a time point. It's when two timelines are crossing, and there we have to change to go on another timeline. It always depends on us, on our understanding of the world, on our feelings. So we were lucky. We changed from a bad timeline. In this bad timelines, the possibility of a Third World War was very high. But the good thing is we changed on a better timeline, and so this big catastrophe didn't came. This timeline understanding is, I will talk other day about dimensions and timelines. My English is right now not good enough, but in a few weeks I'm learning. So, but the message for today is, please understand why some prophecies who are made from very famous seer did not happen. It is because we are able to change with our thoughts, with our mind. We change the world, but by changing the world, we change the timelines. The next what Amira said is what we should understand. We go back to Baba Vanga now. Why did she get blind? Where was she the few days? She said in these days, she was in a different dimension, on a different timeline. She was saved by the spirits, because they saw the beautiful light from the girl, that she was something special, so they saved her. And in these few days she got education, and they opened her the channel in a way that she could handle it, because she was a little girl. And she told her, and they told her about dimensions, they told her about timelines, they explained her the universe. And to understand, this is for the human body a big shock. This cannot be possible. She was born in a time where this understanding about was not here. She came from a very poor family, and the friends of the family and the community where she grows up never heard about something like this. So she was pushed in a completely new world, and this made in her physical body some scratches, we could say. So the C nerves got hurted, and she couldn't handle it. But as I said, she could live very good with it, because she was so sensitive that her inner eyes helped her to see and to feel. So it was not a really big issue for her. Why I'm telling you this? It's important that we open our mind for impossible things, open our mind and leave the way, like the world has to be, leave the way what we learned at school about history, about the truth, about God, about everything. There are so many lies in it. There are so many manipulations. And if the truth comes over us like a thunderstorm, it could be very hard for us. So we have to understand, we have to get some knowledge about it, so our body can go with us. Our body doesn't fall in a shock. This is very important, because when we change, when we do the shift to the new world, to do the shift, we have to take our body with us. And if the body don't understand, our brain, our physical body has problems with it, it could be hurtful. So if we learn and our brain accept that things are not like we got it at school, then we can do the shift without any pain in our body, and we can do it easier. So she was a pioneer, Baba Vanga. She went the process, and she got the Holy Spirit in her life. She got the connection with Christ. She was a very spiritual woman with a big heart. I'm sure she's one of the ascended masters, and we all can become ascended masters in the next time if we really work on us. So the shift means also to take the physical body with us, And this process will be very easy when we open our mind, when we accept that things are different than we thought before. I hope I got you some very interesting informations, and at least I have to tell you that Baba Vanga is one of the avatars who helps us from the other side to go through our process, to help us by growing. And she did what she did when she was alive. She still is doing this to help people to grow, to get healthy, and to find their way. So we thank Baba Vanga for your support and that she still helps us. I'm very happy that we get support from the spirit, from avatars, and from ascended masters, so we can develop us easier. But on my question I had to Amira, this I have to tell you, I asked her, so what is if people say, okay, we got so much help, what if people say, do I have to do also something? Yes, we have. They help us, they support us, but we have to do our own process. We have to work on ourselves to grow, to leave bad things behind us, bad thoughts, bad words. So it doesn't go without us, and it's a hard work, but then we will go all together to the new world, to paradise. This was my message for today, and thank you for listening. My name is Lydia Gruber, and be happy.